I do a lot of fishing for walleyes with night crawlers. It's a great bait. It's very natural. It's something that they're used to eating. And up until recently, until Do It came out with the 2 new jig molds with the wire keepers on them, I always had trouble keeping a night crawler on the hook. And you know, when you got to stop and rebait or readjust your bait, it takes time, which means you're going to catch less fish. Well, now with the new wire keepers from Do It, if I want to fish with a night crawler, the process is much more simplified and they stand a lot longer. First, one thing I always do whenever I put a crawler on, especially if I'm fishing out of my buddy Ross Grothy's boat, I'm going to make sure that I actually wash off the crawler. Dip it in a little water, dip it over the side of the boat. It keeps the dirt and the scum or the paper or whatever your crawlers are packed in where they belong. The next tip is you got to put the night crawler on the hook. And sometimes they get all livid and they get all angry like that. Well, to get that crawler under control, what you basically want to do is you want to pat him on the head until he settles down like that. He'll scrunch all up, and then you can actually get that hook point right in the tip of that crawler. So then once you do that, you thread it on there so that just basically it's going to ride as straight as possible. And then the nice thing again about these new Do It jig molds with the wire keeper on them, you poke the crawler over that wire keeper and then you pull it back until the wire sticks back out of that again. So now that crawler's up, threaded on that jig naturally. You can fish it through the water like this, and it's gonna work a lot better and stand a lot longer. The other thing that I like to do is I love fishing with a half a crawler. The neat thing about a half a crawler is it's going to imitate a smelt, maybe a minnow, maybe a leech, whatever they like. It's a smaller offering, and when you're offering a smaller offering, it's pretty much with a jig. It's all offense, it's all hook. And in order to do that, again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take a night crawler. I'm going to dip it in the water to make my whatever I'm working with as clean as possible. And then in turn, I'm going to pat that crawler back down again. This is one of my favorite jigs to use right here. This is the Teardrop Jig, out of the Teardrop Jig mold from Do It with the wire keeper. And I'm going to thread that on there. Again, pop it over the wire keeper, poke it back so the metal pokes through the crawler. And then I'm going to take my thumbnail and I'm going to make that little 3 or 4 inch offering that I'm going to want to fish with. Again, they grab a hold of that. It's all offense, it's all hook, and it's going to stay on the hook a lot longer and allow you to catch a lot more fish per night crawler.